do this. You guys, welcome to the July XBN State of the Industry. Can you believe it's July? And
No.
today, I know,
No.
July. We're broadcasting from our market center in Medford. It's going to be a full day here in Medford. So, Southern Oregon family, I'm so excited. I'm in the house today. We get to spend all day together. And XBN throughout the state, we get to spend the morning together. So, let's get started. State
Yay.
of the industry. For those of you, most of you know me, I am Leslie Hilbert. I'm your general manager of the Experience Brokerage Network, which of course makes up 4 amazing Keller Williams market centers here in the state of Oregon. 600 Keller Williams agents. We do about 4,000 real estate transactions a year. And my amazing co-host, Jordan, who are you?
I like how you said only 4,000 transactions. It's nothing. I'm Jordan, assistant team leader, Capital City and Sunset Corridor.
And Jordan, why do we do this every single month?
We do this every single month because we have new people that join us and they may not know who we are. So we always introduce ourselves.
12. Now, this is just 12 since the last time we did this broadcast. We are adding people all the time. So we just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to our new family members across the state of Oregon. If you see them in our Zoom rooms, in our hallways, in our classes, in our trainings, please give them a huge KW and XBN welcome with all of the love, culture, productivity, and give them all the love that you can. And welcome to your first state of the industry. So let's roll through some important updates and announcements before we get to our speakers today, because we've got some important things that are kind of going on out there. So first up, we've got the news that came in over the weekend. So this one's the heavy one. You guys, I know there's been a lot of conversation about what happened over the weekend with the flooding and in Texas in the Guadalupe River. We've had a lot of our agents reach out to us. Thank you so much for your heart, for your prayers. And as you guys know, KW Cares is a huge part of our culture and of our giving. They were here to support us when we were in our time of need with the fires here in Oregon. And many of you asked, how can you give back? And so thank you for all of our prayer warriors and all of you who have asked how they can give and what is the best way to do so. Now, we also know that this is not the only thing that's happening out in the world. There are floods happening everywhere, but for those of you that want to specifically give to the Guadalupe River flood disaster, they have created a special way to give. Now, at this time, KW Cares has already gone ahead and given immediate $150,000 directly to the cause. And for those of you who have asked, we are thrilled to announce that 100% of our KW agents and family members have been accounted for, which was the most important thing to check off the list. So we know that our family members are safe. We are now focusing our energy on supporting the community, on supporting the first responders that are out there helping those community members on the search and recovery efforts at this time. So there are 2 ways that you can give. If you want to give directly to the river fund, that QR code will go directly to this fund, not just the general KW Cares fund. We've also included a donations list of how you can help. If you click that QR code, it will take you directly to the website that is specifically towards this KW Cares effort. So if your heart is in a place that you would like to give, serve, or donate, please check that out. We know that as the floodwaters recede and the energy around this fades, there will be much need over the next coming weeks and months. So stay tuned for additional ways that we can help support those community and family members in the coming days, weeks, and months to come. So thank you guys for all your prayers, your donations, and your constant giving to our KW Cares Fund. So that's all we have for that one, Jordan. So what other announcements do we got?
Well, we have what they are calling List to Last. So KWRI will be live streaming this on Connect, which is through Command, and it's mastering the art of the agreement. So we all know to achieve lasting success in real estate, it starts with actually mastering the ability to reach meaningful agreements with clients, right? So List to Last is going to equip you with the tools for a consultative approach to get that agreement and help your buyers and sellers make informed and confident decisions. So by blending like historical insights, industry trends, proven strategies, this course is actually going to empower you to elevate your value, which I love talking about with agents, win more listings, and build a resilient business. So this will be on July 16th and July 23rd, 11 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, it'll be through Connect and Command. And I do believe we will be live streaming it in some of the market centers, if not all of them. So
Definitely. And Gary and Jason, you can't miss that.
yeah, do I need to say more?
No. But that's not all.
It
What
is
else?
not all. So next up after that, we have Mega Agent Camp. So hopefully everyone knows what Mega Agent Camp, but for those who are new and have never heard about it before, I just wanted to say, well, what is Mega Agent Camp? So this is the real estate's leading agent education and training event. It's designed for agents at every level. It centers on main stage conversations with top producing agents from across KW. Gary Keller will be there, a bunch of KW leaders. It's just about learning and culture. It'll have keynotes, receptions, exhibits, just to grow your business and to grow your dreams as well. So it'll actually be in San Antonio, Texas this year. So you'll be steps away from the famous Riverwalk with, you know, history and historic charm. And not only that, but a lot of people go to Mega Agent Camp for the CEO Summit. Yes, thank you for doing the slide there. So the CEO Summit, it is this is just where the top thought leaders, industry experts, best-selling authors, influential change makers come together and they talk about what is going on and how we can elevate our businesses. Yeah, CEO is your favorite. Yep. So it'll just be powerful conversations, wealth building strategies, just to spark fresh ideas and propel yourself forward. So it's an amazing time. So if you can go, highly recommend. Yes, and make sure you take a lot of notebooks because you're going to take a lot of notes, or have your remarkable charged.
I love it. Yes. Pages and pages and pages of notes on this one. So, okay, you guys. So we told you how to give. We told you a couple opportunities to learn and grow. So now let's talk about some relationships and some resources. So we are so excited to announce new to the state of the industry stage. However, he's already made his way around to a bunch of our market centers and our mega agent offices. So he's already gotten out in the field and belly to belly to meet with a ton of our agents. We have been looking for an incredible partner to lead our Envoy Mortgage world and to give us like all of the value and help guide our agents and the resources of what is going on in the mortgages industry. So I'm super excited to welcome to the XBN family and our power partner with Envoy, our new working area director, Donnie Fomini, to talk to us about what are the trends and the tips that we should all be aware of in the mortgage world.
Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Leslie. I'm excited to be here. I'll tell you what, I just feel blessed to be a part of this group. I want to bring value. So I like to get in just with the nitty gritty. I know you're here to not really talk about mortgages, but I'll tell you what, there's some good key points. I'm hoping to just give you guys one key point to take away. Let's kind of give you a quick update real fast. The Fed meeting is coming up. at the end of the month, July 29th through July 30th. And professionals are expecting the rates to get cut around 0.5%, the Fed rate. What does that mean to us? Well, mortgage rates tend to move slightly ahead of Fed movement. So what that means in terms of pure numbers, you guys have to understand, if the Fed rates right now are around the mid fours, if they're going to cut it with all of the sentiment that's going on between Powell and Trump, if they're going to cut it by 0.5%, I believe that's going to happen if I'm going to make my prediction. If the rates go down by half and we use our average loan amount that I've looked up, that's $408,000 in Oregon. How does that translate in terms of affordability? So let's put everything down to pure numbers. If you do that, for every 0.25% move, your rates move up, your payment moves approximately $80 a month. So if that tells us that if our payments are going to decrease when the rates decrease, we could be saving our borrowers, the payments could be somewhere around $160 to $180 a month. What does that translate to? About a $30,000 to $40,000 increase in purchase power. So for all of you agents out there that have someone around the 400, 350, and you need them to bump up their price a little bit, we'd love to work with them at Envoy. But if they currently have a lender, you got to realize that you have an opportunity right there on the rate movement. And that can happen as early as, I would say, 3 weeks or as late as 4 weeks. So just be aware of that. So that's my quick market tip in terms of what's going on. Now, let me dive down to these 3 slides real quick. When we work, and I know I spoke with the team down there at Roseburg or in Roseburg, the median prices, we always have to take a look at these areas. So median prices in your area, I used this as an example, is $475,000. You got to also look at your median income. So once you do that, you'll start to realize that using the law of average, we just take the median income divided by 12, and I use a 0.45. And what that represents is approximately what your maximum housing ratio is based on your monthly gross income. So keep that in mind. So in this particular example, that's $3,300 a month, slightly over that. If we talk about affordability, if you take out a mortgage calculator for you math geniuses, or call your mortgage person, you're going to realize that the payment is around $3,000 a month. And here's the issue that we're running into today. I think most of you will agree with me, with inventory slightly creeping up, affordability going lower, then what you're seeing is that we only are left with $335 a month to cover taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance. I don't think that covers it all. I think most of you will agree with me. So if we go to the next slide. So here's how you can fix affordability, besides, of course, the Fed's lowering rate. That's going to help us if we keep that in mind. If that happens, which we expect it to, that's going to help us by about $180 a month. That's a $30,000 to $40,000 purchase power. How else can we solve this? 3 ways, really. It's increase income, decrease debt, and of course, down payment. But let's cover income real quick. If you keep in mind, these are little tips that I hope you guys can get. Cosigners, they can be in or out of state. You can have 4 to 5 cosigners. That's right, 4 to 5 cosigners. And these are for agency guidelines. But when you're talking about govies, such as conventional, USDA, like, you have to realize that they don't have limitations. So would it make it harder? Some lenders will have those guidelines, but do not be afraid to ask your buyers for cosigners out of state. Bonuses, overtime, second jobs, all available. As you can see there, it's a 2-year mark. So most lending guidelines will require a 2-year average. So keep that in mind. Child support, alimony, we don't really think about that. But as long as it's a 3-year continuance with proof that they've been receiving it, that also counts as income. So all of these little things increases purchase power. And believe it or not, for every $60 a month in net, so we should say $60 is 45%. I know I'm speaking a lot of numbers, so that's really somewhere around $120 more. That would mean your client can qualify for $10,000 more in purchase power, that little amount. So there's nothing. I get clients telling me all the time, well, I get Social Security, but it's only $250 a month. Well, guess what? You just qualified for $20,000 more in purchase power. Like, you didn't realize that. Rental income, house hacking, for those of you who took the class last time, you have to take advantage of buyers, first-time home buyers that are buying single family homes, 1 unit. Their purchase power actually increases with a 2 or 3 unit. So just keep that in mind because of the rental income that we will give them, as in the underwriter in the bank, in terms of income credit. So keep that in mind also. Asset distribution. People don't realize that if a borrower is of retirement age, in this case, agency says 62 years old, we can create a 3-year distribution from their money manager. So I've done this many times. As someone has $300,000-$400,000 in their money market account, they're of retirement age, they draw $3,000 a month. And as long as we have the ability to cover 3 years of payment, 36 months, that is considered additional income on top of Social Security and part-time job. So these are little teeny tricks that you don't necessarily need to know, but you just have to realize that there are a lot of opportunities out there. So speak to us at Envoy. We'll go through everything, single thing. Asset depletion. Yes, there are clients out there with $1 million, $2 million in their account. All that works is, all we do there is take their entire sum of their value divided by 360 months, which is 30 years, and we'll give them that additional monthly income. So that's an asset depletion. All of these, by the way, that I'm describing are agency guidelines. These are well-known guidelines for underwriters that I would be willing to bet that a lot of people do not know. So just keep that in mind. Decrease in debt, pay off debts. I love the VA loan because they give us sellers can give up to 4%. And unlike other agency loans, we can take part of that 4% and pay off consumer debts, credit cards, car payments. That's a big deal if you're working with a veteran person. So just be ready for that. Refinancing, reallocating debt, husband and wife, someone has a joint ownership on an auto loan. We know that we may use just one person's credit to give a better advantage in terms of interest rate. Well, the other person can refinance the car in their name. So there's so many ways we can restructure debt. So just keep that in mind. Of course, down payment, we can help with that. Envoy has a couple great DPAs, the national DPAs that I know Mike spoke about last month. And we have the Oregon bond launching. I'm excited about that. We have an Oregon processor that's currently in training, and we're ready to launch this. So if you're working with a buyer that needs down payment, please reach out to us. Okay, so the last slide. Okay, reduce housing payment, price reduction. You guys know that. That's pretty simple. For every 10,000, just so you're aware, it's about $60 a month. So you just have to be aware of what your client's debt ratio is. And that's okay to ask the loan officer, what is my client's debt ratio? Do we have room? Are we at 46, 47%, where things start looking a little hairy? Then we can start talking about a price reduction or negotiation if you're a buyer's representative, or offering some sort of concession if you're listing the property to encourage that buyer who's very close to buying but really loves your listing to get qualified. Seller credits, awesome way to take advantage of seller credits. Where you're a listing agent, you can offer seller credits, or if you're a buyer, you can do the exact same thing, offer seller credits for a permanent buy down. And some of you may know 2-1-1-1 buy downs, where rates are reduced for the first 2 years. It's not an ARM. I want to make that clear. They're reduced for the first 2 years. And then the remainder of year 3 to 30, it's a fixed period. Okay, so those are things that could substantially help the cash flow of your buyer. And we talked about down payment. We're getting ready for that. So I don't see too many of that, but I'd love for everyone to take advantage of that. The opportunity is there. As inventory gets more and more, we're looking for more creative ways to put things on yard signs. Our national DPAs allows 100% on single family homes, duplexes, and manufactured homes on its own lot. Keywords, own lot. So keep that in mind. There are some great opportunities out there for people that are looking for down payment assistance. And at the end of the day, we would love to work with them. And if they don't have an agent, if they call us from that sign, we're directing them right back to you. So I think that's how we could all win together and close more transactions. And that's it for me.
I love it. Donnie, okay, so you gave us a ton of information on like trends and a prediction as well as some tips. So if people wanted more information on those trends, those tips, or to get more information on some of the products, and they wanted to get a hold of you or one of the LOs in their local area, what's the absolute best way to get a hold of you?
Well, you please reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly. We can certainly have you work with your LOs in Envoy that you're comfortable with, that you're used to. We have fantastic loan officers. We'll continue to grow the area and support you as much as possible. So please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to send you anything you need just on the support along with product. And we'll be coming in with a lot more classes. I'm developing 10 certified CE classes for mortgage financing that will be integrating into this deal.
Yay, Donnie, thank you so much. Welcome
welcome.
to the XBN partnership, and I'm so excited to be in business with you.
Glad to be here.
All right. Okay, you guys, now we're super excited about this as well because we are welcoming to the state of the industry also for the first time somebody who I've had the pleasure of knowing and being able to collaborate and learn from for years now. Been in the role of OP, of operating principal, and because he's somebody who I've got to basically learn from, mentor, shadow in a way. As I've grown in my leadership journey in the Northwest region, I've known him as one of the top operating principals in the state of Washington and in the Northwest region. So welcome to the state of the industry, our new Northwest regional director. We promised you one Northwest representative. We are actually bringing you two Northwest regional representatives today. Welcome both Dennis and Crystal to the state of the industry stage today.
Thank you so much. First off, I want to say something about Donnie. I love his haircut. I think we both use the same barber. I'm pretty sure. So Leslie, thank you for having us. And gosh, I'm happy to be here. Crystal and I both visited Bend yesterday, and then today is Medford. And then actually, I think we fly home today.
We do.
Yeah, okay.
You fly home, but you're going to be back in Oregon in a couple weeks visiting our Eugene Market Center. So you guys, rest of XBN, don't feel left out. They're going to come visit each and every one of you in your market centers throughout the year. So we are lucky enough to have you in-house today in Medford on the state of the industry, like virtually for everybody. So like you guys are just getting the taste of them today. Dennis, like it's going to be like tons of the Northwest region this year in 2025. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is their first time kind of getting to know you. So your role is our Keller Williams Northwest Regional Director. I mentioned that you are an operating principal of multiple Keller Williams market centers in the state of Washington. But tell us a little bit about your journey with Keller Williams and kind of like what led you to your current role.
Awesome. I'll start all the way back from when I started in real estate. It was 1988. I was 28 years old, 27 years old, about to turn 28. And I was working at John L. Scott actually, and did that for several years. And I was burning out because I was doing it 7 days a week. That's how everybody else did it. And making good money, but very tired all the time. Had 2 little kids at home. Got my wife to get her license so she could help me. And so she got hers in 96. That was what, 7 or 8 years after I'd started in real estate. And when she got her license, I actually left the business for about 10 years, and I started my own, well, I actually bought out another company that was a metal finishing company, completely different from real estate. So left real estate for about 10 years until my wife came and said, we've got to check out this company called Keller Williams. And I'm like, well, I've never heard of them, so probably a terrible idea. And if you're thinking of leaving John L. Scott, you should probably go to Windermere. So I'm giving her advice on what she should do. And she checked out Windermere and realized it was basically the same thing as John L. Scott, very traditional. And so she said, why don't you go take some classes down in Oregon, of all places? That there's this guy teaching this called Mega Achievement Productivity Systems. And that was the name of the class back then. And I took it, and I came back, and I was actually mad because I'd never learned all the things I learned in that 2-day class. And I was mad because I probably would have never left real estate had I understood all of the ways to build this thing as a business. So what happened was I said, you go ahead and join Keller Williams, even though it's like 35, 40 minutes from your house versus at that time it was 5 minutes where she worked currently at John L. Scott. Go ahead and join that. And then within 6 months, she's like, well, I think we need one in Federal Way, which is where our first market center was. And I'm like, well, okay, what does that mean? She said, well, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. So she found out that you could actually invest in the company and start one up yourself. And that took us down the road. We started our own office in 2000, actually it was January of 2005. So that's 20 years ago. And that was our first office, Federal Way. I got back into real estate, kept my other company for about another 4 years, sold that company right at the peak of the recession in 2008, actually December of 2008, and full-time into real estate again, and OP of the Market Center. So since then, we purchased, well, we purchased in 2007, we purchased a piece of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Had a part of that until 2017. In 2017, I became the OP of Idaho, of the Coeur d'Alene office. And also in 2017, the same month that I became OP there, we opened up Kent. So we had Federal Way, Kent, and Coeur d'Alene. And did that for, gosh, until I sold Coeur d'Alene in 2022. And thought, okay, now I only have 2 market centers, it's gonna be way easier. Well, that was until this last September of 2024, we bought 2 more market centers, 2 all up in Gig Harbor. So now we have 4 market centers. We're about the same size as XBN is. 4 market centers, a little over 600 agents, and there's never a slow day. And then right after we bought those 2 offices, right after that, I get a call from International saying, hey, we need a new regional director for your region, and you're one of the top OPs. I said, no, thank you. Leslie's laughing because it's true. I said, nope, not interested. I had not worked for anybody since I was, well, it had been 40 years since I'd had a boss or an employee, or employer, I should say. And so it took a little negotiating, a little bit of convincing that would be a good idea for me. And so after talking with Mark Willis and Wendy Carrollton, they basically talked me into it. So here I am.
I love it. So you said no to a big opportunity, and then you went and learned more. And we're so thrilled that you accepted the role, because here you are.
Thank you.
So now that you're sitting in this seat and get to see KW from a whole new perspective, right? Because I think it's safe to say over the last couple of decades, you've got to see the real estate industry from a lot of different perspectives, right? You got to see the industry change, laws change, the economy change, and we're going to talk about that. But right now, you get to see KW from a different perspective. So tell our agents, what is the coolest thing that KW, that's going on right now at KW, that our agents should be excited about from your seat?
I would say a couple things. One, this new partnership with Stone Point Capital is a big deal. That's a lot of money coming in and being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. So they can compete with anybody. And then secondly, the latest thing for the agents is the Canva partnership that we just did. And that's why Crystal's here to help explain that, because she's the technology person.
Hi, Fred. Good morning. I am Crystal LeBron. I'm your regional tech trainer. I see a lot of familiar faces on this call. It's nice to see all of you. I hope I get to see a lot of you in person this morning. And yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the Canva partnership that we have. We don't have a ton of information yet, so I just want to be really honest with you about that. At Mega Agent Camp, we're going to get a lot more details about exactly what and exactly when. But I did want to share with you the few things that I know. We're really excited for this flagship partnership. Canva and KW are committed to building new, exciting products together that haven't existed in either markets yet. And they're really excited to make sure that everyone has access to all of the amazing tools that Canva already provides, along with some things that we're going to add. And Jordan just threw the kind of the one sheet information that we have on it right now in the chat. We know that this is coming in Q3. We know that everyone will have access to a free Canva Pro account. If you're currently paying for one, we will help you transition to the free one, which is super exciting. It will be MLS integrated. Your market centers and your regional leaders will have the ability to create templates and things that they can then give you access to, making all of that so much simpler. And then as far as what it's going to look like in the future, we're really excited to use our labs process to figure that out. So the labs team, if you don't know, labs is our team that helps build our technology. And they've made the decision that they don't want to decide what this partnership should look like without agent input. So the plan is to make sure that everybody gets access to the tools as they exist today, and then use the labs process so that our agents can tell us what they want it to look like in the future. And that's really exciting. So I'm thrilled to let you all know that you're going to have a voice and a say in what this partnership looks like moving forward. And that's super exciting.
I love it. Wendy, yay. Absolutely. Yay. This is so exciting. And also, like, for those of you, I said, like, if you have not had a chance to meet Crystal in person, like, sign up for the classes that we are bringing to the Market Center. Like, these are like the do not miss. Like, we are coming to your house. Make sure you sign up. Like, yeah, I'm so excited. I mean,
Me
you can
too.
see her on lots of classes, but she will be in your hometown. So Crystal, thank you. So lots of new exciting things from a leadership perspective that our agents should be excited about in KW. But Dennis, let's like circle back, right? Like a couple of decades, right? And we talk to our agents all the time. Like I stand in mastermind rooms all the time and I'm like, so who was here during the last recession? And there's not a lot of hands that go up.
They say that 70% of our agents have never been through a down market. Because for the last 15 years, it's gone up. It's just kept going up, right? And so agents got used to just sticking a sign in the yard and the house would sell, usually that first weekend. And so things have definitely changed. You know, I've been lucky enough to be in this business for over 30 years now. And when I first started, we didn't have computers. We had a book. So things have really changed over the years. We saw the coming of the internet. We thought it was a fad at first. Here we are on Zoom. And then the Great Recession was really the hardest thing we've gone through. 2008, 2009, 2010. Boy, those were some very tough 3 years that we had. Not only did we have declining sales in units like we did since 2022, we've had declining units, right? But we also had declining pricing. We lost like 40% of value in those 2 to 3 years of 08, 9, and 10. It wasn't until 2011 that things started going back up again. And that was a slow climb because people were still scared to buy a house. A lot of people lost their homes. It was a devastating time. So those that were in the business during that time, they'll remember it. And they remember the short sales, and you could put a deal together. It would take a year for it to close. You know, REOs where they wouldn't real estate owned stuff where they wouldn't sign any kind of Form 17. Nobody knew anything about the house. You just bought it as is. There was just a lot of different things you had to go through and a lot of curveballs thrown your way that you had to figure it out. We also saw a decline in agent count because it was so tough. A lot of people just got out of business. But the ones that stuck it together, the ones that just kept pounding forward, kept trying and kept going forward, came out of that super strong because number one, they had the reserves to be able to get through it. And number two, they cut their expenses to the core so that they could make it through and came out stronger on the other end.
Dennis, during that time, they wrote a book, right? A book that we talk about a lot, right? Like, I mean, NKW, we've referenced this book a ton. And I think over like during kind of the boom times, like people are kind of like, yeah. There was this talk of this word called the shift. And there was this book that we had on the shelf that we like think about the shift tactics. But now
Yeah.
you're talking about these things. There it is, Charlie. Thank you so much, right? Like, and let's be honest, right? Like, it's time to pull that book off, dust it off, and get real and get right that some of those very things that you were just talking about may be showing up in the world today. So as we look at where we sit in the real estate world today, in the industry today, the economy today, what do you think that our agents should be focusing on?
Well, honestly, I think that they should have pulled the book out in 2022 when the rates went up. That's when it all started. But I think it takes time for people to realize, hey, things aren't quite the same. I think it's taken really a couple of years for people to go, hey, my stuff's still selling, but it's taking longer. I'm getting more listings. Some of them are sitting. I don't even know what to say to people after 3-4 weeks because you were used to things selling in the first 2 weeks. And so I would say the first thing you have to do is set the expectation correctly with your sellers and your buyers, right? You probably, with buyers, you already noticed because there's more on the market, they're gonna have more choice. They may even be able to get some closing costs paid, some negotiations done. But with sellers, you have to tell them, look, things aren't selling in the first week anymore. That was the old market. This is now the new market. So you got to know what is your average days on market. And if you're not getting some offers within that time period, you better set the expectation. You're going to have to lower your price. It's always price and it's always condition of the house. Those are the two things you can control. Nothing else can you control. You can't control rates. You can't control how many buyers are out there, but you can sure as hell be the best looking home for the best price in your market. Those are the things I would say you have to do. Now, if you go to the Shift book, first chapter talks about get real, get right. And that is just about mindset. Okay, so in the book it says there's three options you have. You can be pessimistic, you can be optimistic, or you can be realistic. If you're a pessimistic person, you think that the sky is falling and it's never going to come back. And you may end up leaving the business. I had a great agent 2 weeks ago in one of our meetings say, I'm just not sure if this business is for me. This is a person that makes $250 a year, wondering if this is the business for her anymore. And I said, you've got to get that out of your head right now. Number one, where can you go to make $250,000 a year? You know anyone that's going to hire you for that? No, the answer is no. Number two, you are a great agent. You have to understand, you are in a scale of agents, you're in the top 20%, maybe even in the top 10%. So if of all people that should be thinking, this is still my business, it should be you. So that's the pessimistic side. The optimistic side says, hey, the market's going to come back. I'll just, keep doing my thing. I'm sure things will turn around. And they don't do anything different to change. And those ones may fade out of the way too. We haven't seen it yet. We're seeing some agents get out, but there's still quite a few in. And so the pessimist and the optimist, those are the two most at risk. The realist goes, this is what's really happening. I gotta understand what's happening. I've got to now set the expectations correctly with my buyers and sellers so that they know what to expect, tell them the truth about what's happening. And I'm gonna work twice as hard and I'm gonna outlast everybody. And that was, when we were going through 08, 9, and 10, that was my motto in my head. I'm gonna outlast not only every agent out there, but every broker. Because I was selling houses at the time. I sold houses all the way up to 2017. So, I mean, it was just a motto of, I'm gonna outwork everybody and I'm gonna win. I mean, I'm still here.
I love that. Outlast. And would you say, like, we've talked a lot about in our mastermind rooms, like the path is in the math. And like, listen, our agents know that I love numbers, right, guys? I love numbers. The path, I know Jordan's laughing. The path is in the math. And when I think about some of the optimism that's showing up right now, is like, I would say an example of over optimism is relying on old conversion rates that aren't working. Would you agree?
I would totally agree. In fact, I believe so strongly in the path is in the math, that if you know what your real numbers are, all the emotion goes away. It disappears. There's no emotion to it. It's just a number. If I know I have to make 50 contacts a day in order to convert so many of those contacts into appointments, and then how many appointments into actual contracts, then I just know a number. I just know, hey, okay, here's the number, it's 50. Now, in a harder market, maybe it's 100. I don't know. I have to figure that out. So once I know what the numbers are, it takes away all the emotion about, oh, this is a terrible market. No, it's not. It's just different. You've got a market. Here's what the market is. Go do what you have to do to make it work.
Okay. So first we have to do, like, the truth is we got to get real, we got to get right. We've got mindset, we've got this idea of, are we being, like, a self-assessment? Are we being pessimistic? Are we being optimistic? Or are we being realistic, right? And if we're not being realistic, then we have an adjustment to make, right? So let's say an agent has had that self-reflection, they've decided to be realistic. What do you think is the next thing that they need to focus on?
Well, I've got some lessons from the first chapter. Okay, this is just the first chapter of that book. By the way, go get the book. It's not very expensive. In fact, they probably have one in your office somewhere. Number one, markets are cyclical, and change is inevitable. So why fight it? Why are you fighting it? You can't fight it. It's going to happen. Success in a down market is not about not about wanting for it to pass, but adjusting quickly and decisively. Top agents gain market share during shifts because others retreat or reverse or freeze.
Well, that matches with what you were just talking about,
Yep.
about, we may have to adjust our conversion rates,
Yep.
right? And I know, like, I teach a lot of classes about the numbers, same thing. We've just started to double the conversion rates we were talking about 2 years ago. And here's the great thing about that is, let's say our conversion rate is a little bit better than double what it used to be. When we come out of this shifting market, you end up taking market share because you've gotten in the habit of 100 to 1, and now the conversion rate is 50 to 1, right? And so that's how you end up taking market share, is by building this habit. And that's where that cyclical thing really comes in helpful to you, because you can push through in the down market.
And that's why the top agents always end up even stronger when they come out of a shifting market like this. But every market has its opportunities. You just have to find what that opportunity is. I mean, right now, I think the opportunity is probably in expireds and canceled. If you're good at calling on expireds and canceled, I'm telling you,
TCPA friendly and
in a
compliant.
very TCPA friendly way, you're going to do just fine.
Expired and canceled. Ooh, I mean,
Most people don't know how to do that because they didn't have to do it in the last 15 years. There were no expireds or canceled.
that's a whole new skill set, Dennis. Like, what do you mean expired and canceled? Everything sells out of the gate, right?
Not anymore.
Hmm.
I don't know what your current inventory level is, but across the country, it's building up. It's getting bigger and bigger. And in Seattle, the Seattle area, it's gotten bigger. We're at like 2.8 months in King County, which is the hottest county. Pierce County is actually a little bit below that, even it's less than 2.8, but we're starting to build in some of the other outlying counties. So it's going to start building in our area as well.
You know, Dennis, what I love what you said about that is you guys, and this is why we bring on speakers from all over, right? Like Dennis just told you his inventory and his local area. Now we've been doing masterminds all over the place, right? Like, and the stats just came out in Portland Metro, right? Like we're around that three months. And we just were in Roseburg yesterday, Douglas County, 5.7. Right? Like Portland Metro, like if I told you it was 5.7, how'd you feel about that? Like, and then we went down to like Josephine County. Donnie, what was in Josephine County? Like it was like oh, you're on mute. Like we almost fell out of our chair.
11.7 from what I remember.
I mean, Dennis, like how do you feel about 11.7?
That brings me back to 08 and 09. That's how long things were longer. It was actually longer than that. It was 18 months at one point of inventory.
But here's the conversation, right? Is real estate is local.
Yeah.
And we need to know what's happening locally to be that fiduciary, right? Like, are we being pessimistic, optimistic? Are we being realistic? Do we know the reality of what's happening in our market so we can make the right adjustments? I just came back to that first conversation, Dennis.
Yeah.
Well, and what those numbers are telling me is we're in a skills-based listing market now, right? We can't just put a sign in the yard and the listing magically sells. We get to be skilled in how to sell and market listings. And I wanted to make sure I let you all know about a great resource if you missed it. The Empire Builders podcast is fantastic, and they did a two-part series on this exact topic, on skills-based listings and exactly how to have those conversations with your sellers to have a realistic conversation, but also great strategies on how we get listings sold in this market. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you take a look at it.
I love that. Jordan, did you grab the Empire Builder one? She's already got it. Look how good she is. She's already got it in the chat for you guys. And if you haven't listened to the Empire Builder one, we will make sure that all of these links get into your follow-up or your wrap-up email, you guys. We are like just cranking out the resources today on this call. And I think also we will replug the conversation that we said that Jordan mentioned at the beginning with Gary and Jason coming up, the list to last, right? Like things are changing. And what we're finding is it takes a new, well, for some of our agents, a new skill set. And that's okay. But I loved what you said, Dennis, was why fight it? And the truth is I don't know how you feel about this, Dennis, is I'm in a lot of mastermind rooms where we've got people fighting it.
Yep.
Fighting it tooth and nail instead of accepting the market that is and saying, is this a price issue or is this a condition issue? Like these are our options. Is this a price issue or a condition issue? And then here's our options from there. Like we don't need to fight this. And this is how we navigate forward. Right.
And Leslie, the truth is that Donnie gave us a little bit of hope there that maybe rates are going to come down, which has been a big problem for a while. And if they do, it doesn't mean that every house is going to sell. What it means is the best houses are going to sell fast. And so you better be the best price and the best conditioned home on the market. And, you know, if your sellers are not listening to what you're telling them, put them in the car and drive them to the other houses that are the competition. That'll open their eyes up.
You know, Dennis, it reminds me of the things that we used to talk about or the conversations we used to have with our sellers is, right, like it's either we're going to sell your house or we're going to help your neighbor sell their house.
That would piss me off as a seller. I would hate
right.
that. I don't
Right,
want to
like-
help somebody else. I want to help
Which way are we going to go here, right? Like, we're going to set the market, or we're going to help somebody else sell their house. Like, these are the conversations we used to have, right? And
Yeah.
you heard in script to say, like, we're going to set the market or chase the market. Well, say it a different way. Like, we're either going to sell your house or we're going to help your neighbor sell theirs.
Yep.
That's a different way to talk to your seller.
Yeah, they're not hearing that from anybody else probably.
Interesting. Well, okay. So you think, I love that we always want to make sure we're talking about like we're not here to say like, I hope nobody leaves this call and says, gosh, that was a heavy call, right? We want you to leave this call with nothing but go, oh my gosh, there's opportunity, right? Because truly there is. Like in our masterminds, we want to make sure you're saying, here's the opportunity. Donnie, you just gave us so many options today of like, I love that we're talking about like, hey, here's your challenge. This is how we go make things more affordable, right? Dennis and Crystal, you're like, hey, here's the mindset you need to have, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people that won't choose this. Dennis, you said opportunity. You think it's an expireds and canceleds. Where
Yeah.
else could our people be finding opportunity in the market of today?
Well, I'd say price reductions. Learn how to get price reductions from your people and and setting expectations. I promise you, there's tons, most of your competition is not talking about this. They're just hoping for the best. They're just saying, hang in there. Just hang in there. It'll come back. Well, it will come back. But are you going to be able to make it through this? I mean, this isn't the same as 08, 9, and 10. Trust me, it's not. We don't have prices plummeting like they were back then. So it's a way better market than what we had then. And because prices are higher, your commission dollars are way higher. So you're going to be fine, but you've got to do the work. You've got to understand what's happening. You've got to set expectations correctly and communicate with your sellers, because if you don't, trust me, they think you're not doing anything to help them.
So there's a couple of things that I am hearing you say out of that, which is one, it's really important that we set expectations up front, right? Like
Yep.
set those expectations up front. But there's another piece to this that I think is really important is there's a lot of conversation about the value of the real estate professional and within the transaction. And there's something that I've been really talking to our agents about, and I think this hits on it, is our relationship with our consumer and our client, and the way we communicate with them is going to be more important than ever. And and tell me if you agree, like it is going to be the agents who can master communication in this market that are going to be the most successful.
And communication based on how your seller or buyer wants to be communicated with, because everybody's different. For me, I'd rather have a phone call. For somebody her age, young punk like this,
I like a text message.
probably a text message. For somebody else, it might be, I mean, I don't even know, there's so many different ways to communicate now. But what do they expect? What are their expectations of how they want to be communicated with? If you can ask that question in a listing appointment or even a buyer's appointment, you've set yourself up nobody else has asked, I promise no one asked them how they want to be communicated with. And how often?
Well, and we're in a world with a lot of noise, right? Like I was talking to several of my trainers and agents recently, and I said the news has one job. The news's job is to get you to keep watching the news. And so they need to create chaos, and they're making this industry feel like chaos. And so if you don't become the calm voice in the conversation that says, I got this, I know what we're doing, and we have a plan, then the loudest voice will win. And if you're not the loudest, the news will be. And they will believe that it's chaotic and that everything is out of control. So you get to come in and be the person who says, it's not out of control. We have a plan. I've got this.
And here are the numbers to prove it. Back to the numbers again.
Speaking of back in the numbers, I want to mention one thing that is a fact. Mortgage applications on the purchase side is actually remaining stable or trending upwards. So for a few people that are saying, oh, the rates are too high, we have less buyers, That's absolutely not true. The fact that we have more inventory, I get excited because I'm an optimist. It just means, oh, things are about to explode when the rates drop. So mortgage applications and demand are rising. They have not dipped in high interest rate climates. They're actually rising. So that's a really good take on what's about to happen when the rates drop. So for me, it's those who hold the biggest bag and the biggest amount of listings are going to win, and the biggest buyers.
And Donnie, I think that it's rising because it's been over 2 years now, 2.5 years. Is it 3 years? Really, almost 3 years now, since rates went up. And those buyers, those are all delayed buyers that wanted to buy all this time, hoping the rates are going to come down. They haven't. And now they're just like, I can't wait any longer. I've got too much going on. I've got to get this done. So they're ready to go. They're ready to go.
That is great data. Okay, so from mindset, first we've got mindset. We decided we've got to be in the realistic camp. We've got this idea of, I have like little bullet points of nuggets, right? Like outlast, right? Like I've always said, that's so funny that was your like mantra. I've always been like outlive, outlast, right? Like I'm just going to do this longer than you, right? Like,
yep.
Like when people said, Leslie, what's your superpower? I'm just resilient. I'm just going to be, that's so funny. Like Dennis, I'm not surprised. And I also love this, like, why fight it mentality, right? Like there's no good, there's no bad. It just is. Why fight it? Be realistic and then apply the path is in the math, right? And the last piece that I was going to take away from this, Dennis, is if we're going to be realistic, what is it that you need to work on? Is it a hard skill of like, I need to know the math? Like I need to know my market? I need to understand the statistics? Or is it a soft skill that I need to work on my people skills? I need to work on my communication.
Yeah, I think it's both. And I would say, know the numbers. Number one, you have to know the numbers because your sellers and buyers need you. If you don't know those numbers, they don't know. You have to be able to educate them. Number two, you have to put systems in place, especially for your sellers, about how we're going to be communicated on a weekly basis so that they have constant communication about what's going on with their house and what's going on around them. What went pending this week? Well, here's another one that sold because yours didn't. You helped them sell. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be obvious they've got to drop their price in order to get it sold.
You guys, this was good. We are at the top of the hour. You got Dennis, Crystal, thank you so much. Donnie, thank you, you guys. I feel like we walked away from this SOI with so many nuggets, so many resources. Jordan, Adriana, hopefully you took a note of all of those. We are going to get this all out to you with a wrap up the recording. We cannot thank you enough. And for those of you guys who stayed to the end, Adriana, I don't know if you want to put up the slide. Everybody knows who it is. Returning to the state of the industry next month, Chris will be back. So make sure you've got it always on your calendar, same time, same day of the month. So once again, Dennis, Crystal, Donnie, thank you, thank you, thank you. Watch for the recap email. Northwest region, welcome to Oregon. Welcome to Medford. We're excited to spend the day with you. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Have a powerful day.